It just went down the weigh-ins with Frank Martin and Gervonta Tank Davis. But what did we find out from the weigh-ins? Did Frank Martin look weight drained? We're going to talk about all that in this video, but before we do that, make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed, and let's cook on it. Hey, y'all, so we here. We about 24 hours away from Frank Martin and Gervonta Davis getting in the ring. But as y'all all seen, the weigh-ins went down today. I was in that thing live. It was lit. Now, they only did have about a fourth of the arena open. You know, I've been to Canelo, Floyd Mayweather weigh-ins. They got to open the whole arena. Even Deontay Wilder weigh-ins, they got to open the whole arena. But I'm expecting the arena to be packed tomorrow night because, you know, Tank, he got a lot of people still flying in for Baltimore. And Frank Martin, he still got a lot of fans that's probably flying in from Chicago. Well, not Chicago, Indiana, Detroit, and all of the Midwest. So I'm expecting it to be a sellout tomorrow. But that ain't what we here to talk about. We here to talk about them weigh-ins, you know what I'm talking about? And, of course, my man, Gary Antoine Russell, you know, he out there looking in shape like he always do. I believe he was like 2 pounds underweight. But in the main event, well, let's go to the co-main event first. David Benavidez, you know, I know it was much easier for David Benavidez to make weight because he was able to weigh in 7 pounds more than what he's usually able to weigh in. But I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Vosdick was in some shape. That man was cut up like a bag of dough. Real talk. Vosdick was in shape. So it's going to be a hell of a fight. But in the main event, I know y'all saw what I saw. Now, I did a live stream. I believe it was on Tuesday. And I let everybody know that I got Frank Martin for the upset. You know? And I'm sticking with that. I got Frank Martin for the upset. But I ain't going to lie to y'all, man. Them weigh-ins, Frank Martin was looking bad. Of course, he was cut up. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't talking about that. He look in tip-top condition. But my man, Frank Martin, man, he was looking like he just jumped up out of the casket and came to the weigh-ins. That boy face was looking bad. I'm talking about, man, I seen his brain beating in his head. That's how bad he looked. His whole face was sunk in. And I ain't like that. I ain't never seen Frank Martin look that bad in a weigh-in. And I've been watching Frank Martin pretty much his whole career. And from what I've seen, this is the worst I've seen Frank Martin look in a weigh-in. Now, he still got a long time to rehydrate, but he wasn't looking good. And for those who don't know, those weren't even the real weigh-ins. Those were the ceremonial weigh-ins. So they had already weighed in at like 9 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I chopped it up with my man, Gary Antoine Russell, after he had weighed in, and he was energetic, you know. But they already had weighed in early this morning. So a lot of people don't even realize those weren't even the real weigh-ins. So I say that to say this. Imagine what Frank Martin looked early this morning in the real weigh-ins. He had to look a lot worse than that because we've seen Frank and Gervonta with fluids in their system. Like I said, they gonna, you know, rehydrate a lot more. But those weren't even a real weigh-in, so he was looking bad, you know. We talked about how bad Devin Haney was looking on several occasions, you know. When he fought Lomachenko, when Devin Haney fought Kambosos both times, he looked horrible. And Frank Martin looked like Devin Haney looked. Like I said, man, to return to the living dead straight up out the casket. So I was, when I seen that, I ain't gonna lie, I was worried for Frank because I'm like, man, is he gonna be able to fully rehydrate? And I heard Frank doing several interviews and he was talking about how his last weight cut was horrible. He said, man, he had a horrible weight cut against Artem, and that was the reason why he performed the way that he did. But he says now he got a nutritionist, And he been taking it a lot more serious. And I know he been taking it a lot more serious, but y'all got to take into account, this is his first time on the big stage. Usually, Frank Martin don't have to do a million interviews before he fights. So this is where the experience of dealing with a huge fight of this magnitude comes in. You got a lot more obligations that you have to do from the time that they announce that the fight is going to go down, and then the months leading up to it. You got to do a million interviews. Then you got the fight arrivals. Then you got the press conference, and you just got a lot to do. And if you're not prepared for that, it's going to take a toll on you, because Frank Martin is usually used to, ducking off in the cut, being able to make weight, and not having to really talk or do interviews until after the fight. But in a big fight like this, it's a whole different ball game. So and as far as Gervonta Davis, man, Tank looked good. Tank did not look weight drained. He was energetic as hell. You seen a man do backflips. Ain't nobody doing no backflips on stage if they weight drained. So Tank didn't have a bad weight cut. And I know it was a lot of people saying that Tank was overweight. That's why he was caught running while the fight arrivals was happening. I don't think so. Nothing looking at Tank shows me that he had a bad weight cut. Now, they still got to get in the ring and fight. But this is why we like to watch the weigh-ins. And this is why it sucks that we don't get the official weigh-ins no more. Because, come on, man. For the people that's betting on the fight and the people that's still like going back and forth on who they got winning the fight, people want to see what these fighters really look like, weight drained and with no water in their system before they get to rehydrate. People want to see that, so they need to stop doing these old bullshit ass ceremonial weigh-ins. They got that from the UFC fighters, and they need to go back to the real weigh-ins. But, I don't know. Frank Martin, he's confident. I got to chop it up with his brother today, in the gym working out. We was in there working out, and I chopped it up with his older brother. I chopped it up with his pops, too. And, man, they ain't coming to lay down. So don't think that Tank is just going to go in there and run over Frank Martin at all. Win, lose, or draw. It's going to be a fight tomorrow night. And Tank know that. That's why Tank, I believe, took this fight more serious than he's taken any other fight, because he know Frank Martin coming. But I don't know, man. Frank, after this fight, win, lose, or draw, Frank might need to think about going up to 140 pounds, because if you got a nutritionist and everything and you looking like that in the face, it's not healthy. It's not healthy when you can see a man's brain beating in his head because he's so sunk in. Like, you know what I'm saying, man? You can see in that man's eye socket, his eye sockets, everything was just, it didn't look good. It didn't look good, but we still rocking with Frank. If I give a pick, I'm not finna go back. You know what I'm talking about? But, I just wanted to say that, man, the weigh-ins, it can tell you a lot sometimes. But we got to see how Frank Martin rehydrates. Is he going to rehydrate properly? How is he going to look tomorrow night when he come into the ring? Because he sure wasn't looking good today. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about them weigh-ins, how y'all felt about how Frank Martin looked, and how y'all felt about how Gervonta Davis looked. Drop a comment. I want to hear from y'all. Make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel, and y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.